Hello and welcome everyone to a new video. In this video we will be discussing Mortal Kombat and what role Raiden will be playing in the future installments after the events of Mortal Kombat 11. Now we know during the events of Mortal Kombat 11, Raiden gives away his status as the Thunder God to Liu Kang, making Liu Kang the God of Thunder and the God of Fire, so they can use that power against Kronika and restore the timeline to a more peaceful form. However, in doing this, Raiden just becomes a simple mortal with no powers or anything. And so, what will be his role in the future? You know, because Raiden is one of those characters that, since MK1, has always had a spot on the roster. Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Raiden have always been in every game when you count Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, because technically the original MK3 Scorpion wasn't there, but those three characters have always been featured in Mortal Kombat. So what will Raiden's role be in future installments? I have three theories that I think could possibly happen to Raiden in the future installments for Mortal Kombat 12 and onward. So let's go ahead and talk about what those possibly could be. So my first theory is that Raiden will be promoted to Elder God status by Liu Kang. Maybe Liu Kang's ending in Mortal Kombat 11 becomes canon, where he starts a new era of Elder Gods, and Raiden is selected to be one of those individuals to get that status of an Elder God. Maybe that's what happens. We've seen this happen before in the original timeline after the events of Mortal Kombat 4, when Shinnok is defeated, saving all the realms in the process. Raiden is then promoted to Elder God status. However, after Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance occurs and Liu Kang is killed, Raiden relinquishes his status as Elder God to help the remaining Earthrealm warriors take on the Deadly Alliance, and then that's when Deception kicks in, and then the whole thing goes down, and all that happens. But we have seen Raiden get status of Elder God, so maybe that happens again, and that will allow him to have some sort of godhood again, and he'll be a character on the roster with some god powers again and everything like that. Sort of like how Cetrion was the Elder God in Mortal Kombat 11. Maybe Raiden will be back as an Elder God for MK12. So that's one of my theories. I don't know how likely that really is, but that's one of the theories I'm sort of going with. So let's move on to the next one. So my next theory is that corrupt Raiden could re-emerge into reality. In the beginning of Mortal Kombat 11, as we all know, corrupt Raiden disappears into dust after the past Raiden enters the same timeline, because two Raidens cannot exist in the same timeline. And so that's what happens to him. He's in that one chapter and then we never see him again. However, with the past Raiden now becoming a mortal after giving his powers to Liu Kang, and also ceasing to exist because the timelines get reset, could corrupt Raiden now re-emerge back into reality and be, the Thunder God of corruption and all that again? Could that actually happen? Being a Thunder God, he's outside of time, so the reset of the timeline shouldn't technically affect him, and so he should be able to still exist if he can re-emerge. And if he did, that would give us the Thunder God again. He would be back on the roster, he would be another character throughout the story, and it would be really interesting to see, because corrupt Raiden was extremely underused in MK11. He was just extremely underused, especially when you consider the amount of hype he had at the end of MKX. So much hype was around him, they thought he could be the main villain, all sort of deal. And he turned out to have only one chapter, and then he was gone. So I think if they actually had him come back, they could do a lot with him and serve him some real justice as a character. And it'd be really cool. It'd be like Raiden with the red lightning, Liu Kang with the blue lightning. You get the best of both worlds. So I think it'd be an interesting concept. I don't know how likely it actually is of happening, but it's just something I thought of, and think it would just be interesting, since I really like the idea of corrupt Raiden making a return and actually being utilized properly this time. But that's another theory of mine. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, so the next thing in which I think could be Raiden's new role in future Mortal Kombat games is that he becomes the new Baraicha of the series, replacing Bo Raicho altogether. I think this would work perfect for his character since he is no longer a thunder god, but rather a mortal. It would make sense to make him the new Kung Fu master who has his own little dojo and trains up the Earthrealm warriors to be able to protect Earthrealm in that way. I think it'd just be perfect for his character, and it would allow for him to stay relevant because he could have scenes in the story mode where he's in the dojo training up characters like Kung Lao and teaching him martial arts and everything, and having that role. And since he is from Earthrealm, he could participate in tournaments and stuff, unlike Bo Raicho. So he would have that element that we've never seen from Bo Raicho. And being Raiden, he's a lot more popular, he's a much more serious character, and with that you would have a much different, style Kung Fu master than what you had with Bo Raicho, who was more of a comedic character that a lot of fans weren't too big on. Raiden would be way more popular, so I think this role would fit so well with him, and I would be so interested to see it because it's like, what kind of moves would they give Raiden? He wouldn't have lightning anymore, of course, so what would be his martial arts moves as the new Kung Fu teacher, and what would they look like and everything like that? Because obviously he's not going to be like throwing up on the ground like Bo Raicho or anything, so what would they give him? I'd be very interested to see that, and I just think it'd be great to see it, give him the opportunity to remain on the roster, all that stuff. So this would be the perfect role for Raiden, is to be the new Bo Raicho, the new Kung Fu master, teaching up all Earthrealm warriors and all that good stuff, while Liu Kang is the mentor and protector, just like what Raiden was beforehand. And so I just think this would be perfect, and I think this is also the most likely scenario out of the three in which I've shared in this video today. There are, of course, other things that could happen with Raiden. He could just not be a character anymore, which I doubt, or he could be the new Kung Lao and he fights alongside Kung Lao, who would be the new Liu Kang or something. But these three I really like, and I thought I'd make a video discussing them. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, and I will see you all on the next one. See you then.